So welcome everyone to this HEEDS 2304 release webinar. In this presentation today, we will talk about the new capabilities and the features that we have released in HEEDS MDO and will be soon released with HEEDS Connect in the 2304 version. So let me go soon to share the key new features. As an overview for HEEDS MDO, we have, as usual, split the key new features in the four main pillars that we have. For the process automation, we have added a new portal, and we have had also the possibility to download the results from HEEDS Connect. So in this way, building a bidirectional interaction with HEEDS Connect and HEEDS MDO. And we have provided enhancements to the Star CCM and the SimCenter 3D portal. We have continued to do research on the distributed execution for some upcoming planned enhancements. So a lot of work has been done under the hood in preparation for new things coming in 2310 and later. While on the efficient search side, we have done significant enhancements on the multi-objective optimization of Sherpa, and also created the new study type that is linked to adaptive sampling. So adaptive sampling is now not anymore into the DOE set, but it has been promoted between quotes to be a full study. On the insight and discovery, there are a lot of enhancements, especially on the surrogate modeling, to customize the variables for surrogates, to use test designs for evaluating surrogate predictive performance, and also on how to visualize the Pareto plot and the convergence of the Pareto. That's a little bit in a nutshell the key new features for MDO. And for HEEDS Connect, we have different pillars, but we have greatly simplified the deployment for HEEDS Connect. We have added the agent management to administrative interface to make the management of the agents much easier and faster and cleaner in terms of interface. And we have upgraded our authentication authorization mechanism to have more safety and secure, and also to be more compatible with enterprise systems. And we have added, of course, support for adaptive sampling. And last but not least, we have a bidirectional interoperability with TeamCenter simulation. So now HEEDS Connect talks with TeamCenter simulation directly and in a seamless way. So that's a little bit a quick overview of the HEEDS MDO and HEEDS Connect features. I will leave now the floor to my colleague Gabriel to introduce to provide more details about what we have prepared for HEEDS MDO. Gabriel, I'll give you the floor.
Thank you, Roberto. So the HEEDS MDO is going to start off with the user experience changes. First of all, you'll notice that we've revamped our user interface. This is mainly to coincide with what is coming across all of our SimCenter products. It's designed in a way just to make it easier to navigate, and a little bit more illustration as to actually what is actually going on. There's also the long-awaited dark theme. For those of us that maybe work late in the evenings. So that's another enhancement to the user interface and the look and feel of things. One of the things that we've also made improvements to is the plot creation. There was a large number of enhancement requests that were related to this in the previous challenges of the difficulty and actually defining what parameters that you want to show in plots, design tables, and things like that. So we've made this a little bit more easier now. Particularly important when you've got a large number of parameters that you want to select a subselection of. You can also locate parameters by filter keywords, which is very helpful, especially for large projects. And this particular video that is showing at the moment is just illustrating this new dialog that has been created for this functionality. This release, we've also worked on a new lightweight Python package. So for some customers, they are already automating things with Python scripts, and it's sometimes difficult to actually get them to adopt their changes or move over to MDO. But we want to be able to provide our search technology to them. And the HEEDS lightweight Python package is a way for them to actually do so. So they can now incorporate Sherpa and MoSherpa within their frameworks. And one of the things that can be done with it can be easily integrated into Jupyter notebooks in case they are doing, doing design optimization within Python environments. The good thing about this is that the results from the HEEDS library, they can actually be shown in HEEDS Post, and this is available on Windows 10, 11, as well as Linux 64-bit platforms. The most important thing is that this does not come with your typical HEEDS MDO package license. This requires a separate license feature. So you can feel free to contact us for more information in that regards. Moving on to some improvements that we've made to our adaptive sampling and surrogate modeling. For those of you that are familiar with adaptive sampling, this was previously under the DOE umbrella, but it's not really a design of experiments. So part of this enhancement is moving it to become a dedicated study type. And the design of this dedicated study type is that we are seeing a lot more usage of it in generating design data for use towards reduced order modeling and for characterizing the design space when you've got many variables, many responses that you want to try and understand better. You're not just doing an optimization, you want to explore all the different regions of the design space. And we see a lot of that, especially in ADAS, autonomous driving vehicles. They're using this capability to run their hundreds, if not thousands, of simulations on the cloud. Adaptive sampling is essentially goal-based, so not quite the same as optimizing for a particular goal. We're trying to characterize the design space and certain characteristics. Maybe want to focus on local or global accuracy of surrogate models. Another use case that we've added to this is edge case detection. And that's essentially being able to detect where expected or unexpected situations that occur across the design space. So that would be represented by some sharpness or some discontinuity, where there is a sudden change in the conditions or the conditions for a particular response that is that you're trying to actually model. We've also added the customization of this as well, so you can access deeper settings and have customized profiles. So use cases is what if scenarios. How can I find as many diverse designs that are locally high performing, or how can I find as many bad designs? That's from the concept of generating design data, but adaptive sampling can also be used to generate optimal surrogate models. So the workflow that has been changed is that you'll now see adaptive sampling listed directly below parameter optimization, and it's essentially surrogates and knowledge search. And this is essentially giving you a lot of flexibility towards generating design data sets, which you can then use in downstream processes that are related to machine learning or AI-based modeling. And that's really important where we're seeing a lot of our market go towards these days. So we've also added some internal capabilities or exposed some of the capabilities that are behind the scenes with adaptive sampling. We've added Kriging precise tuning, which is a more direct method of hitting the design data points that are behind the scenes. We've also provided best practice suggestions that we prompt to the user if they are running a very large number of design evaluations and they have a lot of parameters. A Kriging model might not be the best one because it's probably going to take quite a lot of time to actually compute behind the scenes after every cycle, after every batch of designs. And we really want to be able to direct users in terms of the best practices so that they are getting better designs faster, but in the context of adaptive sampling. And I think there's another video here. Yeah. So the customization, hopefully this plays. No, it doesn't play. Oh, it does play. Brilliant. Another customization aspect is being able to define the properties of the curvature. So you can think of curvature as where there's nonlinearity all over the place, but we can also direct adaptive sampling to search areas where there's high gradient, so on the slopes, areas where you can direct it towards finding local minima. So the video was showing design points focused on the valleys, and also maxima, where we've got design points that are focused instead on the on the peaks of the mountains. So two different concepts: adaptive sampling, build the best surrogate model possible according to the learning objective, and whilst doing so, you'll be creating your design data that you can then use towards surrogate modeling itself or other surrogate modeling capabilities, perhaps even SimCenter ROM Builder. And those are the two sort of conjoined scenarios that we see a lot of our customers beginning to use these days. Moving on to the actual specific enhancements related to surrogate modeling, we've made it easier to customize what inputs are actually used for surrogate models behind the frameworks that we have in HEEDS. So previously, if you had a design study in HEEDS, let's say we would run a Latin hypercube study, by default, all design variables would be used for regressing that particular response. But sometimes not all design variables are contributing to the actual performance of the prediction of that surrogate model. So with this, we can now combine some other aspects of our product, which you probably already know about, which is the Baruta influence, to identify what are the most influential variables that lead to a particular response performance. And you can now use that information to down select, subset which variable inputs that you want to use to create your surrogate model. And usually the concept of Occam's razor, which is sometimes it's the simplest of solutions that works best. So sometimes a simpler model with less parameters can sometimes work better than having all the parameters under the sun. This also helps with the turnaround time of being able to incorporate the faster surrogate models within workflows if you are running purely a surrogate-based design optimization. Another enhancement that we've also added is being able to evaluate the surrogate predictive performance on unseen data. So typically, unseen data is data that was never encountered in the training process of the surrogate model itself. And we want this to be able to characterize the actual end use of a surrogate, where you want to be able to predict new designs. And that's something that we really need to be able to generalize better. And this applies really for any kind of machine learning or AI-based modeling approach. We need to be able to predict the unknown. And to do that, we need to be able to see and evaluate really how we can do that. So we have to leave some designs aside as a test design set so we can evaluate against them. And we also changed some of the, what is shown in the Investigate Surrogate tab of HEEDS post to be able to facilitate that. And coming up in our October release, we are planning to release a standalone HEEDS post that will also augment this capability further. So in summary, for adaptive sampling and surrogate modeling enhancements, adaptive sampling is now a dedicated study type, and customization and goal targeting essentially is now incorporated with that adaptive sampling workflow, so that users can focus more on the value that it offers, and also the surrogate modeling workflow enhancements that I've just spoken about. So moving on to some long-awaited feature capability, I'm really excited to actually present this because this has been in the works for a few releases. Some of the state-of-the-art capabilities in terms of optimization algorithms have now been, we've been looking at them for some time. And this release, we have made enhancements to MoSherpa so that it is able to better handle many objective optimization problems. Now, for background, multiple objective optimization problems are those where you've got competing trade-offs of designs. Multi-objectives, the terminology in the community is that you have two objectives, lift versus drag. You can't increase lift indefinitely without adversely affecting drag. And also you can't reduce the mass of a structure to the point where your structure fails. You can't indefinitely reduce the mass of a vehicle because then you're not going to have the strength to withstand a crash or impact. So many objective optimization problems is a slight variation where we have many objectives, and that's usually more than two objectives, so 3 or more objectives. And from the state of the art, the highest number of objectives that has sort of been evaluated up against is 15. But typically we can only really handle maybe 6 or 7. Anything beyond that, our brains start getting really, really confused, and we are hindered by the choice, the paralysis of analysis, essentially. So some of the concepts of NSGA3 that are able to handle more than 2 objectives have been taken and adapted to work within our MoSherpa framework. And that allows a lot of the applications where we see many objective problems, such as electric motor design. We've seen objectives that are typically 5 or 6 that are competing. Noise, vibration, and harshness. There's usually 4 or 5 different objectives that you're trying to balance and optimize when you're designing vehicles for comfort. There's also other scenarios in defense industries where you are trying to optimize radar waveforms to seek targets. And then there's water resource planning and marine concept design kinds of problems. So what you see on the top right, it shows how design diversity for our rank 1 Pareto optimal designs is much better with the enhanced MoSherpa. We see a cluster in the old MoSherpa of designs on this sort of like lower area. And that's not really desired. We want to have a balanced choice and an informed choice for the decision maker. So we can see in the enhanced MoSherpa that we have a lot more of a better spread between our different zones. And this is a crashworthiness test problem that nicely illustrates the concept of many objectives when we've got dead zones and we've got zones where we actually do find designs. Another aspect of it is that we also identified that it's actually a lot more stable. We can see here on the bottom right, we have our old MoSherpa, which is this orange line, and we can see that there's a lot of variation in the final Pareto designs, which means that if you were to stop the study at any point, you don't really know whether or not you're going to be in the high performing area of your Pareto front or the lower performing area. So there's a lot of variation that is avoided when we actually use the enhanced MoSherpa with with these new concepts. We see a much stable performance and a lot more higher performance. So we're actually pushing our Pareto optimal designs further into the performance space. We're able to guarantee that. So greater design distribution across the Pareto front, stable optimization performance, and better and more stable Pareto designs faster. Another aspect to coincide with that capability is that we wanted to be able to better visualize the movement of the Pareto front across design cycles. So starting from a blank sheet optimization, a multi or many objective optimization problem, we want to be able to see how the Pareto front moves across the design landscape, and what point does it start to stabilize and reach that sort of steady state where you might get one or two designs that are novel, but you've got enough of a spread. So we've changed the way we actually present this in HEEDS Post so that we can see such an animation. We can see the full set of rank 1, 2, and 3 designs, and any unranked designs that you see are these grey dots that we're not particularly interested in. We're always interested in the more high-performing, interesting designs. Other enhancements that we have, we've added a new portal this release called STK, which nicely translates to what I'm going to show you next. We are always looking to see what our customer requests are in terms of interfacing with a particular tool set. So this particular release, we added support for the ANSYS STK portal, which is simulation software toolkit that performs complex mission planning analysis of ground, sea, air, and space vehicle platforms. Key benefits of the portal is what we've always designed the portals to be: direct and intuitive interfaces to tag inputs and outputs within the ANSYS STK simulation models, being able to optimize critical input parameters for satellites like inertia or trajectories. We see a lot of demand now for satellite constellations. It's getting pretty crowded up there, that's all I can say. But other critical mission parameters that have different objectives can be evaluated with this. This is quite a nice, exciting tool set capability that we've added an interface for within HEEDS, and also coincides with what I presented earlier about the many objective optimization problems. And especially in mission planning, there are many objectives that you're trying to achieve, different what-if scenarios. So this is really important and goes towards our model-based systems engineering roadmap. Star CCM Plus portal enhancement. Star CCM Plus is probably one of our most used portals. So we've added support for simulation operations. Simulation operations was added in Star CCM Plus itself to avoid the need for users to learn Java-based macros, and we've actually incorporated simulation operations in the same manner that we have support for macro automation of Star CCM Plus models inside of the Star CCM Plus portal. And this allows a lot of flexibility. So the key importance is that users don't necessarily have to upgrade all of their existing Star CCM Plus workflows in HEEDS to use simulation operations, but new users that are utilizing simulation operations, they can readily incorporate that within their HEEDS process. We process that operation and we're able to insert particular operations at different stages in the workflow, similar to what we did before. SimCenter 3D portal enhancements, that's another commonly used portal. We've added support for saving modified CAD and simulation models for each design. And the purpose behind this essentially is that sometimes we can't avoid the fact that our simulation model may break down, but we want to be able to save that model so we can understand why did it break down. Maybe the CAD failed to rebuild in that particular parameter configuration. Maybe there is some setting that was not specified correctly for that particular design. So being able to save that allows us to then go in and inspect exactly what is actually going wrong in the model. Has there been a divergence? Has there been some sort of like inherent breakage of the model? And it's made to aid the debugging. We've added this for a number of portals over the last couple of releases, I think last handful of releases, and we found this to be a very beneficial feature where it allows users, if they've incorporated something and they get maybe 70%, they run 100 designs randomly with random parameter configurations, 70% might come back with errors. What this allows them to do is we can now pinpoint exactly where those errors are occurring. Is it in the CAD model? Is it in some procedure that is being operated on within SimCenter 3D? And it allows a lot more faster diagnosis of such a problem. So something that may take, only 30% of your designs are successful in that, 100 design set, you can improve that up to 80, 90%, even 100%, because you've been able to resolve that problem much easier, much quicker. Another aspect is that sometimes simulation models in SimCenter 3D incorporate multiple different solutions. Some solutions you don't really need to run all of them. So you've now got flexibility in the portal to actually decide what you want to do for that particular solution. Maybe one solution is that you're solving it and then you want to get the actual input file, or actually not solving it, you maybe want to write the input file but then send it up to a cluster to actually execute. Or you want to just ignore that particular solution and only run the particular production solution that you're actually using. Maybe you've got other solutions that you're still working on, but you can still work from the same fundamental simulation model, and you've got flexibility to choose what you actually want to execute and when. Another aspect that we've added support for is the ability to export layout states in batch mode. And this is a new feature that we requested because previously you would have to launch another instance of SimCenter 3D, run a SimCenter 3D macro that would interactively, you'll see all the plots for the layout state show up, grab a bitmap image, and then save that to the directory. All of that takes additional computational overhead. But with this ability in batch mode, we're able to do this behind the scenes. So it's actually faster to run a design when you want to extract images this way. And it's more robust and less error prone than the previous way. And this is only for a particular version of SimCenter 3D. I can't remember which one off the top of my head, but do reach out to us if you want to have that particular information. Other enhancements is extended support of optional responses, which means that if you've got branches in the workflow that are not executed because of some condition, the responses that are extracted in that branch that don't contribute towards an objective or constraint, you can define them to be optional, which means that you're not extracting the response, but you can adopt them to be to take a default value, or if you are not able to extract them at all, don't worry about it. It's not an essential response to the actual optimization problem or the actual problem statement, not critical to the solution. And lastly, before I hand over to Valerio to talk about HEEDS Connect, we've added that capability to download study results from HEEDS Connect. We're closely working across the two products to bring complementary features to our end users. And this particular release, we had support for downloading the results and also updating the results live, being able to use the post-processing capabilities of HEEDS Post to actually look at the results live as they get evaluated via HEEDS Connect. And also helps towards the collaboration. Okay, over to you, Valerio.
All right, thank you, Gabriel. I will present HEEDS Connect myself. Hope you can see my screen now. So for HEEDS Connect, as you know, HEEDS Connect is our web-based product that is a companion for HEEDS MTO, and it has been launched already in October last year. So we are at the second release of HEEDS Connect. based on the customer feedback, we have done a number of announcements, which I introduced at the beginning of the slides. The first of this is the integration with Teamcenter simulation. So now we have, like we do for HEEDS MDO, we have a direct connection between HEEDS Teamcenter simulation and HEEDS MDO. Now we have it also for HEEDS Connect. So Teamcenter simulation users can actually benefit from this smooth integration. They will have another option in their open simulation tools window, so that they can directly send the HEEDS project to be executed on HEEDS Connect. HEEDS Connect will receive the project, deploy it on the specific user and agent and computational resource that is selected, and allow the HEEDS study to be shared among users, post-processed, and access all the dashboards and the collaboration capabilities that HEEDS Connect provides. Once this is completed, then the Teamcenter simulation study will be triggered to check in again into Teamcenter simulation, and will be removed from the collaboration space. So to avoid that there will be orphan copies of orphan revisions of the original master project in Teamcenter simulation. This allows like a closed loop and bidirectional interaction between HEEDS Connect and Teamcenter simulation. The studies that are coming from Teamcenter simulation are clearly recognized by the TCSIM label, so that the users will know that these will come from a specific master copy available in Teamcenter simulation. Another another improvement that we have done is simplification of deployment. HEEDS Connect is an enterprise product, which is meant to be run on a server and configured and installed by an IT team. In this release, we have further simplified the deployment process, so this is much easier to deploy both for the server and for the agent. Very few steps and minimal requirements, especially in this release. The HEEDS Connect agent is bundled together with the HEEDS MDO installer. It is available also as a standalone, but if you, for customers that have downloaded HEEDS MDO, they will also find the HEEDS Connect agent. This HEEDS Connect agent is can be fired up immediately and will request the connection to a server. And this gives a lot more flexibility in using computational resources together with the agent management. Now, this is linking to the next capability, which is the agent management. So we have also streamlined the process of setting up an agent, which means that now agents can be configured and operated in an easier way. There is an administrative interface that allows the users to accept or reject agents, to make sure that agents can be cleaned up or managed across the collaboration environment. So, and this is also a centralized and secure management of computational resources, so that no unauthorized agents can be connected to the central server and made available to all the users. This links to a number of enhancements in the security and the safety of HEEDS Connect that are part of our product security strategy. Together, still on the security and safety, we have added and enhanced also the authentication and authorization mechanisms for HEEDS Connect. The authentication is now supporting OpenID Connect, which is a standard, pretty standard protocol for authentication and authorization, which is fully transparent for the user experience. The users will not see it at all. except for administrative reasons. And so the whole authorization authentication can now support enterprise user management. So for companies that have LDAP or Active Directories or a number of other servers for user management, we do provide support. So there is no need anymore to create users in HEEDS Connect, but existing users in a company can be immediately activated for HEEDS Connect. This gives also much better security and reliability to the server, and it's providing an increased readiness for SaaS environments, so software as a service environments. These 4 enhancements altogether constitute a significant improvement in the way that the user experiences HEEDS Connect. It makes it safer, it makes it faster, and it makes more secure, and extends the capability to connect with data management. However, we did also the inclusion of the adaptive sampling study. As Gabriel was mentioning earlier, there is a new study type that has been provided in HEEDS MDO, and of course HEEDS Connect supports this. So you will see this new icon for HEEDS adaptive sampling studies. Last but not least, I would like to remind the bidirectional interaction between HEEDS Connect and HEEDS MDO. These are now closely integrated and complementary. In this way, it is possible not only to upload studies from HEEDS MDO to HEEDS Connect as it was released in 2210, but now it is possible also to download the results and make them available locally, so that you can post-process and incite the results of that has been computed with HEEDS Connect in a collaborative environment. So this closes the main enhancements that we have done for HEEDS MDO and HEEDS Connect. So we'll make like a quick summary now for HEEDS MDO. We have worked a lot behind the scenes to improve the robustness and the quality of the product. We have provided capabilities for multi-objective Sherpa and its interpretation. We have added adaptive sampling as a dedicated study type, surrogate modeling workflows to support measuring predictive and generalized performance of surrogates, a new portal to ANSYS SDK with a number of enhancements for StarCCM and SimCenter 3D portals, and the additional capability to download and inspect study results from HEEDS Connect. At the same time, with HEEDS Connect, we have added a simplified agent deployment and management has been greatly simplified and made much more secure. The bidirectional interoperability with HEEDS MDO and Teamcenter simulation is making HEEDS Connect become more and more the hub and the central item of collaboration between users and teams. And the support for OpenID Connect is bringing one level up the enterprise capabilities that HEEDS Connect provides for authentication and authorization. So with this, I would like to thank you all for attending this webinar.